Burgess Taylor. It's Writer Wednesday, and we're going to talk about writing, prepping for NaNoWriMo. I'm using my Writer's Bible, which has my NaNoWriMo bullet journal in it, along with everything today is pretty much about writing. My shirt that says, "Have I mentioned I write books?" My shirt with the little glasses all over it. I think this is the cutest shirt. It's a little chilly in here this morning. And then I have my writer mug. So, Writer Wednesday. So we are approaching the Inmost cave, and then we'll have the Ordeal. I've already drawn the card for the Inmost cave. I have the Hermit. The Hermit has different meanings. We're going to see what it means in the book. Discrimination and study. Time of solitude. Reevaluating the situation. Searching for information and alternate meanings. Time for withdrawal. Socially. Okay, that's what that says. Now let's see what it says in this one. Wisdom, prudence, illumination, philosophy, introspection, meditation. So, with the Hermit, so what the card for this says is what the hero must face. So, the Hermit, and I think this explains it pretty well, a life away from humanity. Apart from humanity. So now we've got the Hermit, and approaching the Inmost cave, she's afraid. She has to face the fear of being alone again. So she started out in this ordinary world where she was pretty much alone completely except for her grandfather. She didn't really have very many friends. She had a couple of casual friends. Life changes for her by degree. She inherits her grandfather's family place. She has to live there for a year using all of the property, which includes his art studio. Part of the promise is that she fulfill the promise that she made him. So in his will, he has adjusted it to make room for the fact that he knows she has to do this little by little. Part of the thing in the will is that she has to meet with his protege, who will become her mentor. He or she, I think this is going to be a she, will help her with her art, will help teach her some of the things that she missed out on. Will actually help more or less boost her confidence and stuff like that, help get her out there. So she's left her job, she's moved, she's starting to create art on an everyday basis. Right when things start going pretty well, when she's just getting into the hang of the new world that she's in and everything, she runs into, because this is her hometown, she's moved away. She's moved back. She's run into her rapist. And I figured out his name. She runs into him. She sees him, and she has to face her fears because he's not in jail. He's never gone to jail. He's living a normal life. She has to face this. Is this something she can deal with? Every now and again when she goes into town, running into him. You know, that's a lot to put on somebody. So now we're going to pull two cards because she has to face the fear of becoming a hermit again, only this time it would be worse because she's not going to want to do anything. So we're going to pull the cards for the fears and what the loss is, because the fear is becoming a hermit again, and what is she going to lose with this man, you know, out and about. One of the quotes that Arwen uses for this is by Bob Weinstein. Don't let your hero's fear paralyze him. Well, that's exactly what my hero is afraid of. That this becoming a hermit again is going to paralyze her. She's going to live apart from humanity. She's going to be frozen, living around like, you know, in limbo. So I have Justice and the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords, she's blindfolded, and she's surrounded by 8 swords. And Justice, yeah, I'm liking that card. So she's going to fear that it was upside down, she reversed. So she's going to fear that she will never get justice for what happened to her. And she feels like she's trapped. Feel like you are trapped in a situation, whether you're in reality or not. There are restrictions through a person or an idea, and responsibilities weigh heavily. Okay, so the first one, which she's trapped. She feels trapped. And I was right on the money. I like that. And then we've got Justice. And it was reversed. Represents legal matters occurring, which can be as big as a major lawsuit. Injustice, delayed justice, bias, karmic justice, abuse of power. She's afraid she will never get justice. That nothing will ever happen to him. I mean, so far nothing's happened to him. She didn't come forward during that time. She was vulnerable. It would have been her word against his word. She knew his family had more money than her grandfather did. Her parents and her brother had died the year before. It's just her and her grandfather. She didn't even want to tell her grandfather what happened. She didn't tell anybody. There's only one person who knew, and that's the girl that was with her homecoming night, her supposed friend. So this is the only person who actually knew. It's the same person that's going to betray her, by the way. There's already been one betrayal. There's going to be an even deeper betrayal. We now have that part. I'm going to write some more about that, but card 1, which is the Eight of Swords, is the leap of faith your hero must take in order to approach this ordeal. So she's trapped. See, I think my cards are backwards. So it represents the old age of your hero. How does this card connect with card 3, the refusal? See, I need to go over this some more. But that's what this is really about. She's trapped. She feels trapped. She's got to take a leap of faith. There is an opening. The swords do not completely encircle her. She can get out of that. She is not trapped. She's afraid she's trapped. She can become a hermit. She can be a recluse. She can never go anywhere or socialize. You know, she can have her groceries delivered. She can work in the studio and stay on the property and never go anywhere. That won't solve her problems. She will be living apart from humanity. She will not really be participating in life on any kind of social thing. She's met the love interest, and though they have not, like, at this point, done anything more than there's some tension, and they've had conversations because they have to, but it's not anything like romantic at all yet. So then we come with the justice. Balancing of the scales. Could be karmic justice, could be injustice, delayed justice. So there's not been any justice at all as of right now. This is years later. She was 15 when this happened. She's like in very early 30s now. So this is half her lifetime ago. But to her, it's still like right here in her face. What she does need to think about for her is she's going to consider going after him. Seriously. She's going to actually consider murdering him. She's deathly afraid. She's deathly afraid. She doesn't, now that she's run into him and she's feeling trapped and vulnerable, exposed, she realizes that not having gotten justice back then was the wrong thing to do, that she should have pursued it. She should have came forward. It's too late now. Statute of limitations and all that. She wants justice. Justice has been denied her because of fear and vulnerability, and she's already wasted a good portion of her life living outside of humanity, living away from it. And there's a difference. She did go to work, she did have a job, but now she's contemplating, she's one of two choices, she feels like, because she feels trapped. She can completely isolate herself, which she had done that to a degree before in her ordinary world, but now she's talking like really living apart from humanity, because she's afraid. She's afraid he'll come back and do it again. So in the back of her mind, she's thinking, well, I need, she's taken self-defense classes, she owns a gun, she's not afraid to use a gun, but she's deathly afraid of this man. So what the feelings of being trapped and, she's in a really bad place. She has to face those fears. So the cave, the inmost cave for her is literally an inner cave. It's not an outer cave. She has to face her fears. She has to focus on what it is she's really afraid of, because through the self-defense classes and stuff, she can protect herself. Now, granted, if somebody came at her with a gun, she could protect herself to a degree, but if somebody has a gun to your forehead, not a whole lot you can do, unless you're Chuck Norris or Steven Seagal or, Jet Li, Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee. So the ordeal. The ordeal is the next section. And this, she says, cue the death march, that people have to leave other people behind, that you enter the cave and you know that your final doom is going to be waiting. This is the central life or death crisis of your story. So this is, I'm going to pull the cards. Your hero has no control over the transformation. Everything is about to change, she says. So you're supposed to think of, what's going to happen. What does the hero have to lose? Her life, her freedom. Those are the things that the hero has to lose. Her sanity. Okay, so we have, for the ordeal, we have the Ten of Swords. I'm going to have to put the pictures up there of these so you can actually see them. I have the Five of Pentacles. There are two people walking through snow in what looks like in front of a church with cloaks on. It looks like they're freezing. They're scared. And then we have the Six of Wands, which is upside down, so it's reversed. And that person is speaking in front of a crowd. Everybody is, they're watching her, talking, listening, and respect. So I think what we have here is she's considering revenge. Okay, she's considering revenge. So in the back of her mind, she's thinking about it, but she can't go through with it. She cannot go through it. She's not the kind of person who could kill another person except in self-defense. She's just not. So, Here comes the antagonist. And the antagonist, the thing she's most afraid of is being raped again, is being humiliated, devalued, of dying, of losing her life. She is insecure about her sexuality. She is insecure about being her true self, about living up to her potential. So she kind of hides herself physically and emotionally from people. She dresses down so that she's less attractive. She keeps herself sort of in the shadows so people don't really pay attention to her. This was her ordinary world. Well, since she's moved into this new life, her grandfather's the home she grew up in. She's been creating art again. She's slowly but surely becoming her true self. Now she is deathly afraid she will end up being that hermit again. She's afraid she will be away from humanity, live apart from it. She's afraid she'll lose her world, her new life, and the courage and the strength that she's gotten. There's this part of her, though, that this fierce part who's like, look, I can take care of myself. I can do this. Her insecure part is like, wait a minute, you know, he's done this to you before. Maybe you should do something about it. That's the fear talking. So before she can make up her mind about anything, she's really not a killer. She's not. Something very bad happens. Something very bad happens. I'm going to pull a card because I need to know exactly what this thing is. This is the antagonist card. Not his card, but the thing that's going to happen to him, because a lot of what I'm pulling right now has to do with the protagonist. So, and we get that one card again, which makes sense because it's reversed. I'm back to the Eight of Swords. He's going to trap her. He sees her. He breaks in, and so, yeah. Where are we at? He breaks in. I've got to pull some more of the antagonist cards at this point, but he's going to break in, and he's going to try to rape her again. And what happens is, for the book, I hate to leave y'all on a cliffhanger, because the next step in this is the reward, and I cannot, in the road back, I cannot talk about the rest of the novel and the cards that I pull without revealing anything else. One way or the other, the character is going to be triumphant. What she's been most afraid of is losing her freedom again. That's what she lost when this happened so many years ago, and she lived as a hermit. She isolated herself. She lost her freedom. Rape victims often feel that way. They feel violated in the deepest ways. You can't explain to somebody how that feels. So being insecure and not respecting yourself because you feel like you feel disrespected and degraded. You have to build yourself back up because you feel like you're responsible even though you're not responsible. You could have fought harder. You could have tried harder. You could have said no louder. And then if you don't report it, well, you should have reported it. You could have reported it, whether anybody believed you or not. There's a lot of that. The victim mentality is very hard to get rid of. So we're going to, next Wednesday, we're going to talk about the antagonist, because we're at a point and we're going to talk about the love interest. I'm going to do the B story. We'll talk some about the antagonist, and we'll talk some about the love interest, because we haven't really talked about that very much. Jason Powell is the name of the antagonist, and Zane Walker is our love interest. Zane Walker I'm thinking he is actually working for the grandfather's attorney. That maybe he is the grandfather's attorney's son or grandson. She's going to meet him through that attorney because she's to go back to the attorney when the 1 year is up. And this is happening right around this time. I haven't decided whether I want a whole year to lapse. Time passed by. I'm trying to figure out a timeline. Things like that. Writing a novel is a lot more complicated than you realize because you have to have things set up on a timeline. And you can't just go, oh, well, she fell in love and they got married. It doesn't work that way. It sure as hell doesn't work that way in real life. And you want the book to be realistic, but to be imaginative. You want it to hold their interest. And if you write, well, they meet on day A, there's sparks flying and bells ringing, and by day 10 they're married, that's not interesting. It's actually boring and cliche. So that's what we're doing. I have not I've not attempted a book that in one aspect, it's so complicated in the one way because it has real life issues in it, because it's all about feelings and emotions and thoughts and values and things that are important when you face your fears. And that's what this is for her. It's facing your fears. The whole novel, for the most part, is about her facing her fears and being honest with herself and being true to herself. So, in a way, I'm broken down at its simplest form. And so, I'm really enjoying this process, and I'm really enjoying what I'm getting from it. This is probably the most, like, unorganized video I've done with this. But when I got the idea, as I do this, the ideas start streaming, and they like, and now I know exactly what's going to happen. But I'm not going to reveal everything because that would completely ruin the book. And then for anybody who wants to read the book, you don't want to know everything ahead of time. It's just too, yeah, I don't want to give away all the spoilers. We'll see. I haven't yet completely decided. But he's definitely going to break into her place. He's definitely going to try to rape her again. Is she going to kick his ass and call the police? Tie him up and call the police? Is she going to kill him in self-defense? Is she going to beat him down? What's going to happen? So, I got a pretty good idea, but I'm going to, the next part that we pull is the reward. So your hero has struggled. It's the moment that the hero's worked for. Is he going to, she's going to call the police and they're going to lock him up? That would be justice. If she kills him in self-defense, that would be justice. If he rapes her again, that would be injustice, and that would be exactly what she fears. And all three of those are a possibility. All three of those are a possibility. So, yeah. Next Wednesday, we'll talk about the antagonist and the love interest, and we'll do cards for them. Thanks for watching, y'all. Have a good one. I'll see you again soon. Bye.